What's going on, everybody? So what you're looking at is the engine for a 2002 Saturn SL1. We're doing a video after the fact because, well, it was easier to do after the fact. Car's got 225,000 miles on it. Had a very high idle. Was also popping a code for a misfire on cylinder 1. Now we had already replaced the plugs and the wires. So we knew it wasn't a spark plug issue. What we did find after doing some digging, a lot of Googling, a lot of YouTubing, we found that there's a faulty intake manifold gasket that causes this issue. So that's what we swapped out, the intake manifold gasket as well as the PCV valve. We also did the valve cover gasket while we were there, but we're not going to show you how to do that in this video. Things you'll need, or things we used, is we wound up using a lot of light. We found it easier just to pull the hood right off, 4 bolts in the corners, pretty simple. And we still wound up using a trouble lamp. We also needed a flathead screwdriver, a 14 mil wrench, a 10 mil socket, and a 13 mil socket. The 13 mil I used 1/4 inch drive with an extension, deep socket, as well as a pass-through socket to get the nuts off the engine studs. So as you're looking at it, we've taken off the air filter cover and intake hose from the throttle body, as well as the hose from the PCV from the valve cover to the throttle body. Another thing a lot of people didn't say anything about is you're going to want to either drain some or all of your coolant, because once you take that intake manifold off, you're going to start losing coolant. So I wound up just draining it and then putting fresh coolant in it as well, because I wanted to flush the heater core when I was done. So with that, I'm going to show you the steps I took so we can speed up your process and you're not sitting in the garage for 6 hours on a Saturday when it's 75 and you could be drinking beer in the backyard. Apologize for the lighting and any awkward camera angles that you get, but here we go. So like I said, we take off the air filter cover and the intake hose. Throw some light on the situation. While you're over here, you're going to want to disconnect your fuel line. Throw a rag down, catch any drips. I also disconnected the connection to the EGR valve and then used 10 mil to get that nut or bolt and that bolt. Just set the EGR valve off to the side. There's a nut, as you can see right there. That's one of the offending nuts for the intake. And there's another one directly below it. And I found it just easier to get to with that 1/4 inch drive when I took the EGR off. Down there, you see that bolt down there on that bracket, that mount? You're going to take that out so you can slide the intake back towards the firewall once you get everything disconnected. On the other side of the house, see here, you need a 14 mil to get to your tensioner bolt so you can slide the belt off the idler pulley. You're going to do that because you're going to need to remove the power steering pump. We have to remove the power steering pump for 2 reasons. One, there is a nut that we need to remove for the intake that is not visible from up here, but essentially it is right down there next to underneath that injector. You can see the injector. There we go. And because in their all-knowing, all-powerful minds when they design this, they put just enough of a lip on the intake that it won't pass the power steering pump. So, power steering pump, the pulley has a series of 3 slots. There's 4 bolts. They're all 10 mil. I broke it loose with a 3/4 inch deep socket and ratchet set, and then wound them back by hand to get them off. The bolts are, there's 2 up here, one there, one there, one down there, and the one at about 7 o'clock. Again, as you can see, the PCV hose is off. We replaced the PCV as well. It's right there. It's about $4. This vacuum line that connects to this overflow pipe with that connector comes around the valve cover and links up over here. We disconnected that as well. Just make it easy. So we already know that you have one nut under this injector, two nuts, one there, one directly below, three, one there. If I can get some light on it, there we go. One there, one directly below the PCV. The bottom one is one of two that I accessed from underneath the car. The other 7 you can get from up top. Move over here to where that vacuum line we talked about earlier connects to the throttle body. There's, whoa, no, don't do that. Okay, there's 2 there, one underneath. The one underneath is the other one I accessed from the bottom. And then, let's see here. Over there. There's the other 2. One there, one there. So, once you back those off, those nuts off, you can push the intake and the throttle body back to the firewall, and it'll give you just enough room to clean up get the old gasket off the engine as well as the intake, get the surface clean, and slide your new one in. We went to O'Reilly Auto Parts, got a Fel-Pro gasket. I think it cost about $23, and a PCV. Putting it back on. When you put everything back together, I put the nuts back on the studs, but before you tighten them down, make sure you put that bracket back on. That one down there. Again, apologize for the lighting. That one bolt we pulled out, the mounting bracket. Put that back on before you tighten down your nuts. It'll make it a lot easier. And then make sure you put coolant back in when you're done. Not a mechanic, just a guy that's not afraid to try. Although I do play a mechanic in some bars and on TV. Got any questions, post them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If I can't, try and direct you to somebody who can. Take care and good luck.